Did you want to be all in this Labor Day weekend but couldn't swing a trip to Chicago? Wrestle Travel has you covered. Pre-order StarCast on Fight before the 27th of August to be automatically entered for your chance to win the ultimate all-in experience. You and a guest will receive airfare to Chicago, a hotel suite for 3 nights, platinum bracelets to StarCast, and eat and greet every day at StarCast, every official meet and greet at StarCast, VIP tickets to the official after party, and best of all, front row tickets to All In. The drawing will happen on Monday, August 27th, live on Twitch. And remember, when you order StarCast, you get over 20 live shows, more than 40 hours of content, both live and on demand. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate all-in experience. Hurry to fight.tv/StarCast and pre-order today before it's too late.
Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com. Back from the live Raw we just went to up in Brooklyn. My goodness, that was our 3rd show in a row. A lot of WWE wrestling. We are pretty wrestled out, but we still got one more tomorrow. We're going to be heading to SmackDown. But I'm not even. I really don't have much to say. I just really want to jump into this show. Let me introduce Victoria to you real quick. Hey, Victoria.
Hi.
There she is.
Yes, 3rd show, 4th one tomorrow.
I know. We're nuts. I don't like. It is a lot of stuff going on.
But you know what,
now.
though? It's been fine. Like, I'm not, like, burned out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought I would be at this point. I thought it was going to be difficult to get to SmackDown tomorrow, but I'm looking forward to SmackDown. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to SmackDown,
yeah.
too. Actually, they advertised a pretty darn good show.
Yeah.
What, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton?
Definitely.
You know, just be careful. Don't shake his hand, you know. That's the big joke.
All right, no.
You know, it's like, oh my God, how many people all weekend have been going, oh, well, here comes Randy Orton. He's going to make him shake his hand.
I know, like, I know. The whole, it's true. The entire weekend, you heard everybody online, in the bathroom, like getting food. It was just crazy. Everyone was talking about that.
I know. It's like, get a new trick, you know. It's like, goodness gracious.
Let's just appreciate the show and not have to talk about it.
I know. It's like everybody wants to be insider. So
exactly.
You got to go with this story.
Exactly.
It is a thing, but you know, it's unsubstantiated, and you know, unfortunately, in this society right now, you're guilty until you're proven innocent with just, you know, a couple allegations and whatever. But like, I'm not saying Orton's innocent either, though. I mean, there's no question in my mind that he's done some weird stuff, you know, from defecating in people's bags, particularly women. I wouldn't put it past him to, you know, be doing that to the writers. But that's not what we're here to discuss.
No.
You know, I'm just talking about the stuff that was like driving me nuts, you know, being amongst the peoples, you know, and
what a weird way to open a show,
isn't it? Yeah, that
was a
really,
little awkward. Not going to lie.
We're about 3 minutes in, and it already took a turn for the weird.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Sorry.
I apologize, everybody.
Sorry, everyone.
But hey, you know what? We've been having a great weekend. It has been a lot of fun. We went to NXT on Saturday,
yes,
which was a total blast.
Absolutely.
I love that Adam Cole Ricochet match. That was just so much fun.
That was my favorite match of the night.
I would think so.
It really was.
You know. I mean, Gargano.
Ricochet was awesome.
Ricochet. I told Victoria, you know, heading in there, she had never really seen Ricochet.
No,
before.
I haven't.
And I said, you're gonna love this guy. He's really something special. Especially, you know, he really made the transition to WWE.
Man,
way better than I thought.
So you said he was a gymnast.
No, I don't know if he was a gymnast or what. No, but he.
I thought you told me he was a gymnast.
No, I don't remember. I don't think he is. I could
hearing stuff clearly.
I could look it up. I could look it up and go fishing for that. I mean, but the way he moves, you would think he's a gymnast. Maybe that's where we got it from.
I don't know. I thought I heard gymnast somewhere. Maybe you said he moves like a gymnast. I think
I probably told you that.
Maybe,
it's like watching a gymnast in action. Like, you know,
yeah, maybe that was it.
Like he should be like in the Olympics or
something like that. Yeah.
You know, but he really, like what he was doing, the stuff that lion salt into a super kick was like unbelievable.
Fantastic.
That was such a cool spot.
So cool.
The super Hurricane Rana to the floor, which was insanely sick. You know,
awesome.
I mean, my hats off to Adam Cole, Bay, also because he took some crazy bumps in that match, and obviously it takes two to tango.
Absolutely.
But I just love that match.
No, NXT overall,
they crushed it.
Amazing.
They really did, and it was like, it always becomes like that weird thing. And I know they talked about it in the show last night, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it's like, well, screw you, WWE, top that. It is WWE. It's like they don't have to top their own show.
I know. It's hard to forget.
It always becomes like this, like us versus them.
I know. I think just people.
The them is the same company.
I know. The same people that were at NXT were at SummerSlam. So
I know. Hey, you know what? We got a couple people in the chat with us already. We do.
Really?
I want to say hello to Jamel and Ashley. Is my name UK?
Oh my gosh! Hello.
Oh yes, I do want to address this. Thank you, Ashley, for this. We need verification, guys. Who was giving Brock the finger in that shot from SummerSlam last night? One of you or a fan around you? It was a fan around me. I promise you. Actually, that's a really funny story how I wound up on the floor last night. Because we bought tickets to section 123. I probably shouldn't be putting this out there.
Yeah, don't put it on blast.
But, it's like, talk to a few people. You start moving up a little bit. Hey, can you get me in there? Get me to do this and that. I wound up walking home with a SummerSlam chair. It was great.
But I was not down there.
Victoria was
He was
not
down
with
there.
me.
I
No.
was not down there.
No. I want to make this
No,
clear.
I know. I'm not saying like
I got permission.
Exactly. I want to throw that out there that he was like, "Do you want me to go?" I'm like, "Yes, go." You have to admit, it took like 10 minutes of convincing you to get you down there.
Yeah,
you felt bad.
I felt bad. Well, it was Victoria and my brother-in-law were with me at SummerSlam, and I was like, I had this opportunity to move up and go get on the floor and stuff like that.
But you go.
Yeah, I was like, I know, but I was like, can you get my wife down there too? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We don't want to push it.
It's okay. Honestly, where we sat yesterday, it was fine. I have to be honest with you.
Our seats were great.
Our seats were fantastic because you got to see everything right then and there. Every move, every spot was perfect.
Right. And I got to tell you the truth about sitting on the floor. It's vastly overrated. Unless you are like front row, it actually kind of stinks.
If you're front row or in the aisle, because then you can kind of like move a little bit,
right,
and see the ring. But no, I agree with you. We went to Raw a few months back. Wait, no, we went to
Raw. It was a year ago. It was May of 2017.
Yeah, we went to Raw. We got tickets on the floor that were given to us, and I mean, we still had a great time. Don't get me wrong, but I could, especially me being like 5'3", I couldn't see anything.
I know. Yeah, Victoria is vertically challenged for sure. Yeah, so like if you sit like a few rows back on the floor, you're not seeing anything because then you have all these jerks that stand on their chairs and they stand up for every little thing and have their cameras up. And not only do they stand up, then they put their cameras like all the way above their heads. So it's like you're trying to like dodge cameras and like, I'm trying to see, so like I made it on the floor. I was on the floor for the Rousey match and I was on the floor for the Lesnar match.
Yes.
And I missed the tap out. I didn't get to see it because everybody's like, I can't see. I have to see. I'm the most important. And then
you're listening, wait, can I just cut you off for 1 second? If you're listening to this, find time to actually watch the video because your movements right now are incredible.
Yeah, I know. Yes. And if you're listening to this on podcast, you got to check out the videos. I'm like going nuts. And I missed the pinfall on the Lesnar thing. And obviously when he was beating up Strowman and when he gave me F5 on the floor, I was close enough to the floor where you could definitely hear the thud and you could kind of feel it because he's a big dude. But I totally missed him like assaulting him with the briefcase and the chair. But I did see that briefcase go flying into the stage and break it. Awesome. It was a lot of fun. So our SummerSlam experiences were great.
Yes.
I don't want to talk too much about SummerSlam because Adam and Doug, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that last night, make sure you give that a listen to that.
Great job. Yeah, awesome.
Yes, especially because they put me over so big for all of our tremendous pictures that were on the site. And I want to make this clear to some people because there was some confusion and I'm not sure how, but it's not really feasible to recap from the seats. So there were some people like, I like something maybe and Adam doesn't, or Adam likes something and I didn't. So there's a lot of people like, well, your tweets are confusing me. Well, it's pretty clear that there's someone recapping and then there's somebody at the show.
That happened tonight on Raw, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, because Roy was recapping. We
Yes.
were there, so it was.
I know. So I was sending out my tweets, and Roy was putting them in the recap,
Right,
along with the live pictures. And it's like, well, hey, doesn't make sense.
Contradictory Wrestleview.
I know. It's like I try to sign MT as much as I can, but sometimes I'm trying to get my tweets out there so fast I don't get a chance to sign.
Because then it's on to the next thing.
I kind of assume, and I know what happens when you assume. I'm not gonna say. It took me like 17 years to figure out what that meant. Like when they say and make an ass out of you and me, I never figured that out. But I assume that everybody's just following along and they just realize this, but I guess not.
No, I mean, it maybe if people aren't watching or viewing religiously, I guess it can get confusing. So
I suppose so. Oh well. Well, I feel bad.
Clarification.
I feel bad for those people. I do. That stinks. But okay. So what was your favorite moment from SummerSlam?
My favorite moment from SummerSlam. Okay, besides the Miz versus Daniel Bryan,
of course,
because that's just Miz is my favorite. But the Seth Rollins Dolph Ziggler, good way to open up the show, and everything was perfect in that match. It was the best opening for SummerSlam in a long, long time. Like really, really good.
Well, of the 4 that we've been to, because this is our 4th in a row, and I've been to 5 overall. I went to the SummerSlam in 2007 when it was at the Izod Center, and God, I can't remember what the opening match was and I'm never going to think of it either because it's been 900 years since I've been there. But of the 4, I looked up the other opening matches, and it was like Sheamus versus Randy Orton. It was Enzo Amore and Big Cass versus Kevin Owens and Jericho, and then last year was John Cena versus Baron Corbin. Easily, hands down, the best. It was an over 20-minute match. It was a lot of fun. I got to agree with you. The Seth Rollins thing was awesome. My favorite, I would have to say, would probably be. It had to be the AJ match because it had so much emotion to it. Mm-hmm. Initially I was like, why are they locking up and this and that? Like I wanted to be a little more aggressive starting out, but that thing really, really built well. It really built nicely, and it did get very emotional at the end. And
Annie is so cute.
Oh my God,
she's adorable.
The little girl. Oh, she is really cute. And honestly, I'm sure it came off better on TV because you could probably hear what they're saying and if he's saying anything or whatever it is. But from our seats, you don't hear anything and you're just kind of watching this thing. And, Joe he did a great job bringing the Brooklyn crowd around and really making them invest into the match and get excited.
Definitely.
But, if there is aggression and it's verbal aggression or whatever, or even little facials and stuff like that. I remember when me, Adam, and Doug were at Miami for WrestleMania 28 and we were watching the Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels refereeing, and Shawn was doing all these faces and stuff like that. And you don't really catch all of that from your seats, and so when you watch it back later, it's like, wow, damn, that was actually really just phenomenal. The match. You can watch the match itself and just say this is pretty darn good.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
But when you watch it back, it's like, wow, they did extra that I didn't catch live.
So I guess when we watch SummerSlam, on TV, then we'll get that full experience.
Exactly. And obviously, being there for the Ronda Rousey thing, it was really cool. She is special. The whole thing is she is just a tremendous presentation on her. The makeup was very scary. I was scared. I was scared watching her come to the ring because I was pretty close to the aisle. It was awesome, and I know Adam thought the talking was over the top. I didn't. I thought it was actually pretty appropriate because it's like Ronda Rousey dominated UFC for as long as she did. Yeah, some of the people were, a couple of them were maybe not the best of the best of the best in the world because they were just building up the division, but. Actually, Jamel just reminded me of this thing that the little girl Annie with AJ Styles goes, "Dad, you're bleeding." That I saw. I wanted to say that because I saw that in a video the next day.
So cute. She was so.
And he's like, "I'm sorry."
She's only 4 years old too. When I looked it up, I was like, "Oh, the poor thing." I was like, "Did they have a conversation beforehand?" Daddy's really not hurt. He's okay.
Well, yeah, but he got busted open hard way.
I know, but beforehand, I wonder if they had a conversation, and she didn't even want to go to him at that point. After when she went,
it's scary.
Of course, absolutely, But I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my
I know.
God.
He was bleeding. He shouldn't have picked her up, I think. Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
I'm
you
not a
know.
parent. I'm not a parent. Oh, thank you, Ashley. It was SummerSlam 07 was the first match was Kane beating Finlay.
Thank you,
No
Ashley.
wonder I don't remember that whatsoever. Man, oh man. Wow. What a match. But anyway, what I was saying about Ronda Rousey is that, the presentation is so good, and, she was dominating UFC for as long as she did. It wouldn't be believable if Alexa Bliss was having a long, section of the match where she was really just pounding on Ronda. So, the talking thing, Ronda just kind of steamrolling her kind of worked for me. It worked in my opinion.
Well, you know what I think it is too? I think everybody just really wants to see her for a long extended period of time now, and everyone's kind of jumping the gun. Like I felt the same way as Adam, to be honest with you. I just wish she kind of, didn't do like all that over the top stuff. But then looking back at it, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. You know what I mean? I want to see her wrestle more. You know what I mean? But you're right. She dominated in UFC. She had like those quick matches. So it makes sense for why they're doing that now.
No doubt.
And you want to see her against somebody like, not that I do like Alexa Bliss, but you want to see her against somebody who is going to really take that out of her, like get that real match going, like a Charlotte Flair, somebody like that to kind of really get that going.
Exactly. So, in my opinion, I know it's kind of been rumored a lot. It's, a potential Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey WrestleMania end of the match, last match on the card, main event thing. Possibly that would be history.
I would be so
I would
happy.
absolutely love to see that.
Oh my gosh.
I would absolutely love to see that.
I would love that.
But the Ronda Rousey presentation is tremendous. But one thing I did notice live, and I don't know if you saw this from when you were sitting, was Ronda Rousey was getting some people on her. There were some people. There was a lot of people booing a little bit from where I was. And actually, if you see the picture that Ronda posted on her Instagram saying that she's going to carry the championship with honor and pride and do good for all the women that were there before, there's like two guys in the background. They're giving her the bird, and it's like so lame.
No, not
so
from
lame.
honestly, not from where we were sitting. Everybody was pretty into it, so I didn't really. I mean,
Yeah.
I heard the boos, but not like that.
Yeah, but.
No, she is getting a lot of heat.
there was some heat, and so Mike, I was kind of thinking tonight, like, well, are they going to send her out there and are they going to boo her? Because there were some people, like when she came out on Raw tonight, even that it was I won't say it was mixed. It was still more cheers than boos, but I would say it was like 80-20. There was like 20% of the audience that wanted to give her a hard time. So my thought was going into this show, how are they going to bypass that? How are they going to get it? And they came up with a really, really good solution, which we will talk about coming up on our Raw recap, which we're about to kick off right now. We like to, I always say there's like 4 things that I really look for: the 8, the 9, the 10, and the main event. Mm-hmm. And I think we should start off with the 8 o'clock because the big thing coming out was Roman Reigns. But before we do that, I think that we should just take a look at our Twitter poll real quick. So what did everybody think of the 8:20 Raw? You're not going to believe this. And I think I know why, because everybody's, I think they get a real kick out of the Shield. We got 82% thumbs up for the 8:20 Raw.
Wow.
August 20th edition of Raw.
Wow.
Has 82% thumbs up.
Okay. Nice.
Pretty good.
Nice. That's good.
I mean, it's been up for about 2 hours now, and there's been a lot of votes on it. Somebody commented, awesome finish. So we will talk about all of that stuff. But in the meantime, let's just kick off with how Raw started off, with Roman Reigns making his way to the ring. And man, oh man, was he getting some
Oh, did he get a reaction?
I actually posted up a video of the whole entire thing on the Twitter.
Boy. Yeah, he
definitely they gave it to him for sure. And my thing is, he got a negative reaction. There's no doubt about it. It was definitely negative.
Still a reaction, though.
It's still a loud reaction. I just want to play this video real quick.
Sure.
See if we can hear it. Oh my goodness. No, I don't think I'll be able to hear it. But I don't have it set up correctly today. Oh well. But it was loud from where we were. Really, really loud boos. People giving the finger, saying some colorful language, which I actually always find tasteless, because
especially there's so many kids around now.
There are so many kids around, and I don't know. Sometimes you just have to just be aware of your surroundings, and I don't think enough people are when they go to these events.
Oh, definitely not.
Because when we finangled our way up a little closer tonight, but we started off a little back. We were in section, I forget, 124 or something like that, and we were cramped. Number one, so we had a family sitting next to us, and the kid brought his Dean Ambrose sign. He's wearing his Roman Reigns gear and on a cute little jacket, and he was like so excited to be there. And then you got these guys that are just pounding beers. I am totally cool with pounding beers and having some fun. I am not like the fun police over here.
They were throwing the F-bomb, though, left and right.
They were throwing F-bomb left and right. But not only that, it was like, they were like, I get it. We were watching a Mojo Rawley match on main event, so they were really ripping him. And it was like, oh, that's a nice move. And then they're like, oh, what move is that? Missionary, reverse cowgirl. Like, it started getting like this, like disgusting, like sexual stuff. And I was like, man, oh man, I feel, I could see the dad. He was like right next to me. He's like, don't ask me what that is, kid. It's kind of tasteless. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because you have that was like 7:45 in the evening. Like Raw's not even kicking off yet, and you're already like just dropping bombs left and right. It's like, come on, have a little awareness. Try to be just the tiniest bit classy. That'd be so nice. But to no avail. Some people they can't do it. Anyway, that's our plight, going to wrestling shows. You want to boo Roman, totally cool. I'm on board, that's fine. I cheered him tonight because actually I have to say, when he walked out and he said that he was going to defend the title, and unlike Brock Lesnar, he's going to, he said he's a man of his word. He beat Brock Lesnar, and he's going to defend it, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to defend it tonight against Finn Balor, which got a huge pop from the crowd. Coming off the demon thing last night, which kind of breathed a little life into him, because Finn Balor for quite some time has been kind of lifeless. Yeah, no, I have to say, even though I'm not particularly a Finn Balor fan, I like this concept a lot. I really did. I thought that was really cool to incorporate his injury and how he had an opportunity and everything. So this worked for me. It really, really worked for me. And it showed his true commitment to being the champion. Yeah. And you got to give him a lot of credit for that, But what was interesting about it also? He gave me that Cena face feel, but he still did it like Roman Reigns. I'm trying to explain this the right way. Right. Like giving credit where credit is due to somebody who deserves to be competing with. But he's still going to fight and make sure that he retains. Yes. But just making it an opportunity for somebody else. I really like that. Yeah. Ready for the challenge. I like that too. Like, he didn't let the booze, he's not letting the booze get to him. No, he didn't turn heel like everybody wanted him to. No. And, it is very Cena-esque to just, kind of just. He kept it very classy. He got them on his side, though. He did, absolutely. It worked out. As soon as they mentioned Finn Balor's name, it was like they totally turned it around. Oh, yeah. They totally forgave him for everything. They loved him. And I like that. But particularly when Baron Corbin came out, and he started kind of getting a little rough on Baron Corbin, and oh my gosh, I love what he said. yeah. He's like, yeah, man, because Baron Corbin was like, well, I wasn't expecting to face the demon last night, and this kind of sucks, that you did that to me, whatever. And he goes, in my opinion, the match didn't happen. He's like, well, if I had a night that bad, I'd want to forget it too if I sucked like that. So it was good stuff, and the crowd was definitely on his side for that. Yeah, because I think in the beginning, towards his career, he definitely let it get to him for sure. Oh yeah. But now he's got that tough skin where he's like, I don't really care. Exactly. And it's working in his favor because now he has a lot more confidence. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. It was everybody knew, when 2014 rolled around, like towards the end of 2014 when they were going to try to make him the next guy, that it was a little soon. It was a little too soon. You could tell. You just knew.
Oh, definitely.
Everything was like, stick to the script, stick to the script. The company, even the company itself, wasn't sure how are we going to get this guy over?
Right,
what do we got to do? So let's start making him like jokey guy. Let's go with what we know. Let's stick with the old hat, but try to spruce it up and make it like new hat. So like let's still do John Cena, but with a goatee,
right,
and long hair. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Who wears all black?
And it didn't work out. And it's been a lot of trial and error. 3 years of trial and error, but they've kind of finally got a
I think they found it. I really do.
And it's working out. It really is.
And like Cena gets all the boos, but it's still a reaction.
Well,
the more and more people react, the more and more they don't care.
Well, Cena gets the boos, but Cena always by the end of the segment always has people
and that's exactly what Reigns
always
did, in my opinion. I really think he had the crowd in
he
that
had the crowd
first open. Yeah, absolutely.
He sure
and
did.
Again, I like the fact only about 15 minutes. That's all. Like there's no reason for it to keep it like a half hour and then the match starts.
I think I looked at my watch and it was like
8:11.
It was 8:11
Yeah.
when the thing ended.
Yeah.
So and that was perfect. And it led to a match with Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin, which we'll talk about later. That's more of a quick hit.
Yeah,
for me.
exactly.
It didn't really hit it for me.
No.
But the next thing, the 9 o'clock hour was kind of a surprise. They advertised Triple H coming out, and at SummerSlam they showed this really cool video of showcasing Undertaker versus Triple H for the last time ever at the WWE Super Showdown, which I would watch and I would recap. I would love to do that, but it's also my brother's wedding that day, so I am not going to be able to watch that live. So I'm going to miss the last time ever live, but I will catch it eventually.
Absolutely.
But they did this video and then they showed the video again, and it's kind of a long video, so it kind of felt like they were killing time a little bit. This Raw, it sure did have a couple of lull moments, but the surprises and the little things that they threw at us really made it something special at the end. I felt this had a few more lulls than a normal Raw usually does. But they sent Triple H out, and he's cutting this promo about how watching NXT last night, because he got a big NXT, which I thought was really cool.
Yes.
Big NXT chant when he came out.
We started in our section.
It did start in our section. It did start in a section. We were pretty vocal about that, which was a lot of fun. And he talked about they keep name dropping the promoter from Australia, so I think he's like, if you're gonna do this down in Melbourne, you gotta say my name a whole bunch of times. I was like, like he kept. Everybody said the guy's name was like Paul.
It was like Pete
Dente
or something. Yeah.
Paul, I think it was like Paul Dante or
hold on.
Dente. I'll never find it. I don't even think Roy. By the way, Roy, great job on the Raw recap tonight, sir. But I don't think he put it in the recap because it's like who the hell is this guy? Who?
I'll find it.
But they keep saying his name. He said his name twice in the thing. It's like, are we supposed to know who the hell this guy is? Anyway, so he's like, when Vince got the thing approved, he called me up, and Paul Dente wanted me to be on the show, and I said, hell yeah, I want to be the game man. I want to take off my suit and do all my stuff, do this thing. I want to tape up my fingers again, whatever that does for anything. Where nobody's really sure, but it looks cool, so let's do it. Put on my boots. And, but Paul wants you to face The Undertaker. And I was like, no. And then it went through this whole entire thing, and then he built it up saying, the 2012 WrestleMania was so special to me, and I don't want to, that was the end of an era, but, the era is back for the last time. It's coming out. He went through this whole entire thing. I don't need to go into it, because if you watched Raw, you saw it, and if you didn't, you probably watched some YouTube video of it anyway, so no need for me to really recap that. But the era is back, and I thought it was a good promo, but at the same time, I kept thinking they're going to send Undertaker out here. It's going to be great. And that didn't happen, but it was just like a promo putting over this match and talking about how he's agreeing to it happening when we already know it's happening because we saw the damn video last night and we saw the video again right before it came out. We've seen this thing like 5 times already.
I know.
And they showed the graphic like 6 times.
It was at NXT, right? As well? Was that NXT?
Well, I don't know if... I'm sure it was at NXT, but I don't think they showed the build-up.
No, not only they showed the build-up video, but I think they showed the the picture or something, right?
They showed the graphic.
The graphic.
They showed the graphic. So like we've and it's been obviously booked for quite some time. Paul. Oh yes, thank you, Ashley. Paul Dainty.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Ashley, you were just like killing it tonight. Thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Crushing it. Actually. Yeah. Actually, that would be cool. He goes, I just wanted to have him say the error is back, followed by shock the system, and have some NXT call-ups tonight come out and lay him out, which would have been cool. But that didn't happen. But you know, I was just like,
well, I think that's what everybody was expecting tonight too. I really do. I think everybody was expecting either Taker to come out or him to introduce somebody from NXT.
Right. We were expecting some NXT call-ups tonight for sure. I'm kind of glad they didn't, because the roster is just so saturated with people that they have no clue what they're doing with. I don't want them to bring up some more guys that are just directionless. I'd rather them stay down there until a spot clears or they get some idea of what they want to do with them. Right.
Exactly.
You know. I always remember that famous line that Triple H said. He's like, well, I don't want them calling anybody up from NXT unless they have 6 months of solid programming. And then here comes Tyler Breeze, who's like the next call up, and it's like he's going against Ziggler, and then a month later, dead. It's like, where was his 6 months? It's like, man, oh man. So, you know, yeah, Paul Dainty. So I was like, whoa. And I also said, oh, actually, it's funny that Ashley also said this. The ticket sales for Melbourne must be really slow. Because I said that.
You said that too.
I said that after the segment
you
ended
did.
Because I was like, why are they pushing this so hard? They didn't do, like, when it was Triple H versus John Cena at Greatest Royal Rumble, they didn't really push it that hard. They pushed the Lesnar Reigns thing because it actually had some implication, but they're not pushing like these like one-time only matches, you know, so hard for these like shows. They just kind of like are just there as like little fillers. So I do think like he's like 80,000 stronger to be there. I'm like, what are they sold like 20,000 yet? Like what's crazy?
I know.
So
I think overall though it was a powerful segment to really promote the match, and I love Triple H. He just knows how to entice the crowd.
Yeah,
he really does.
He did a really, really good job building that thing up. You know, I would say other than John Cena, Triple H is like one of the best guys at the hard sell. You know, because John Cena, he really, really like was always able to sell any pay-per-view, no matter how crummy the match was. Like, make it seem like it's a really big deal, and you got to see what happens here.
And you know what? Who doesn't want to see Undertaker? You know, so
I know
works for me.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big Undertaker fan. I guess I should say, because I said it at the Greatest Royal Rumble too. Oh, I hate that. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I got my tongue twisted right now, but it's a little sad to watch The Undertaker right now. That's just all I have to say. You know, he's in his 50s, not in his early 50s really anymore, too. He's like getting towards mid-50s. He has a lot of mileage on those knees.
No, I know.
A lot of mileage on those hips.
I know.
You know, I kind of want him to like quit before it's like totally it gets like I just don't want it to get pathetic. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I know.
Not
that
exactly I'm saying he's pathetic now.
No,
he's still got a little. He's got a little lead left in the pencil, a little juice left. But
I just wanted to go out on top.
It's getting dangerously close.
No, absolutely.
The Roman Reigns thing should have been the end of it, really, because that match actually there were some moments in that match where it got sad, when he couldn't get him up when they were trying to do that tombstone reversal that he's done 100 times in all of his big matches, and he couldn't lift Roman for that time. It was sad to watch, and he collapsing, falling. You know, like I don't want to. I love the Undertaker so much. I grew up with the Undertaker. You know. He's my guy. He was my guy for years. I just don't want to see it get...
I know. You don't want to get to the point where he's doing something that's not worth it, and then he's just got to...
And it's just
just got to retire officially because
it's like when Ric Flair
he has no choice.
It's like when Ric Flair was wrestling. It's like, why is he still wrestling? Why is this happening? Why is Ric Flair rolling around in thumbtacks? Why is Ric Flair in TNA?
Well, Undertaker seems like the type of person
stuff?
just who wants to... push it to the limit.
He wants to push it to the limit, but I also think that Undertaker knows that like when he can't go, he doesn't want to be out there, and I believe he still thinks he can go. So more power to him, but I don't want him to keep convincing himself that he can go.
No, I know.
Really you know, that would suck.
No, it would suck.
Yes, I should just call it the GRR, but I'm not going to say Greatest Royal Rumble anymore after this. So I hope I never have to talk about that show again. That was a long show to recap, brother. Oh man. Okay, so that was Triple H out there for the 9 o'clock hour. The 10 o'clock was Stephanie McMahon's presenting the Raw Women's title to Ronda Rousey, which actually was a darn good segment.
I loved it.
You know, I liked it too.
Stephanie makes it so believable just to hate her guts.
Oh, doesn't she?
She's so good at it.
There's just something so intrinsically
it's just like
annoying
evil.
about her.
Yeah, like an
like
annoying,
even when she was
evil.
coming to the ring, I was kind of making a joke to like the people around me. I was like, "Oh, here comes the savior of the women's division." She, like I don't want to get political here, but it just kind of ties in because it's just funny. Like I'm not saying I hate him or I love him. But Donald Trump always does that all the time. He's always like, well, nobody knew that this was going to be this hard, healthcare, and nobody knew that it couldn't be figured out. And it was like, everybody knew that. It's like, and here comes Stephanie. It's like, women were never given a chance. And then I realized one day, with this trending give divas a chance thing, that they need a chance, and I gave it to them, and I'm the savior, and I did this. I discovered that women could wrestle, and WWE was ahead of this thing before everybody else was. Meanwhile, like WWE was like 10 to 15 years behind everybody on the women.
All right,
behind them. The TNA.
I will
TNA
say
at the knockouts.
I know. I will say though, even though she does do that a lot, where she tries to come out and take control, and annoys the hell out of you, it worked for this match. It worked for this segment. It really, really did.
It did. And actually, all that
I think
stuff
it added to it.
All that stuff I was joking about, she actually wound up using.
That's what I'm saying.
Thing,
exactly, like when Ronda came out and actually said, "Wait, you did this?"
Yeah. Well, Stephanie started off by saying, she's like, last night, Ronda was the first person to ever be the UFC women's champion, and now the WWE women's champion. And if it wasn't for her, Ronda wouldn't be in WWE.
Exactly.
If it wasn't for her, she's the one who molded Ronda. She saw her, as this rough piece of coal, but when you squeeze the coal enough, it becomes a diamond. And she's the one who made Ronda. And she called Ronda her protege.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was funny.
Mm-hmm.
That I did get a kick out of that.
I did. And then when Ronda came back and said, like, "No, you didn't do this. It's all these women around here who did this," and saying, "Oh, come up on the, you girls, come up in the ring, and you deserve to be here too."
Yes.
I think that's where Stephanie's place really. That's why she belonged there. Yeah. I do. I don't think it was one of those control type things.
Yeah,
I think it was a genuine,
actually a lot of fun.
And then obviously to break her arm, of course.
And I got a couple pictures I'm showing right now of the segment from where we were sitting with all the they had the women around the ring, and she's like, why do you have them around the ring? Is it because you want to be above them? You want me to be above them? And then she brings them up all on the ring apron, which was a nice touch. But it was odd that Alexa Bliss was there. Other than, I guess, they wanted to show her with the arm sling on and looking sad. I
think it was also to just support Stephanie, because Stephanie was out there and she knows that Stephanie will give her opportunities and is on her side. So she, she's doing that support.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But it was like, come on now.
Alexa's face, though, when they showed her.
It was kind of cute. It was cute. I felt bad for her, actually. It looked really cute.
Her pink sling and everything.
I know. But Ronda was, I thought, the good job with Ronda continues. They don't let her do too much to overexpose her.
They don't need to. And she shouldn't. Because she does have a hard time talking sometimes.
Yes. Actually, I found that that article that came out over the weekend where she talked about her speech impediment that she had. I forget what kind it was. And
I do too.
I could go look at it, but actually it was very, very motivating to hear that and to read about that, because I had a lisp issue when I was a kid, and I had to go to speech therapy for that and get over it. And for whatever reason, this microphone makes it sound like I'm lisping, but I'm really not. I promise you. But it was actually really cool. Yeah, motor speech disorder here. That's what it says. I grew up with apraxia, which is a motor speech disorder.
Yes.
I had years of speech therapy, and I've always had problems slurring or mispronouncing my words. In the ring, it's so important that you speak so clearly and you're easy to understand and that you don't falter at all, that it makes me more nervous and more likely to actually mispronounce things. It's been really great for me to be able to work on it and overcome those fears that I've had since I was a little kid. I thought that was so neat that she came out and said that. And, I got to give her props for that, because it is tough, like when you have that kind of thing working against you, to be able to go out in front of a whole bunch of people, and maybe they'll love you, maybe they won't. We don't really know. You know, you don't know until you get out there, and she kills it every night. She really does every time she's out there. And you know, so
I think this is one of her better segments too on the mic as well. This was
awesome. This was really awesome. And then Stephanie was like, "Oh well, you know, you know, I don't know who you are. You know, I thought you were Ronda Rousey, the women's champion, but you're just the Ronda Rousey who wants to break people's arms. And, you know, you want to take advantage of everybody. You want them all up on this ring so you can let them know that you're going to eventually break all of their arms." And it was like...
She's going to break your arm, and your arm, and your arm.
It was getting really funny. It was getting funny. Oh, yes. Thank you, Jamel, for reminding me. And Shimmer here in the U.S. as well. And Glow. We had Glow, even though that was, I think that was a little more of a jokey kind of thing, but it was a thing. You know, so women have been doing stuff in wrestling successfully, and obviously in the 1950s. If anybody's ever seen that great documentary Lipstick and Dynamite about women's wrestling in the 40s and 50s with Mildred Burke and the fabulous Moolah, you know, even though she's evil now, Dave Meltzer will never have to pay for his sins, but at least we got Moolah. You know, we retroactively killed Moolah. Awesome, great. You know, Moolah, Mae Young, they had the Mae Young Classic, and Mae Young used to get guys to want to come back to a room with her to sleep with her, and then she would mug them. You know, she made a particularly fun thing about trying to find married guys. That was her deal, and so that when she beat them up and took their stuff, they wouldn't be like, "Hey, you know, I was with a girl. I was gonna, you know, do stuff with her, and then she beat me up and did this to me. I couldn't believe it." You know, you're not gonna say that if you're married. You know, you're gonna try to. Not that I would know about that, but you know, that was her deal. But she gets to have a thing named after her, and you know, so that's the deal with that. But you know. Anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but yes, women have been very successful in wrestling for a long time. I don't know. I just started thinking about the Moolah thing, and you know, just like how everybody wants to pick and choose their history, and you know, we got Moolah. You know, like Moolah, like everything, like you know, you had a couple people that were like, yeah, she definitely did that, and then a couple people that knew her and were like, no, that didn't really happen at all. You know, so it's like, well, who do you believe? You know,
yeah,
like,
we really don't know the actual.
But yes, yes, as Jamel says, Mae Young did take that sit-out powerbomb off the stage through a table from Bubba Ray Dudley. And then I believe, yeah, he says she gets a pass, but she also actually passed gas in Bubba Ray's face. If you ever seen that video, it's actually kind of funny. He says that she actually farted in his face when she took the powerbomb. Anyway, so Stephanie, you know, goes on that whole entire thing, and Ronda says, "Hey, I only break people's arms who deserve it." And then she got Stephanie in the arm bar and proceeded to try to break her arm again, which was actually really cool. She celebrated, and it's done. No Nikki Bella turning on her and attacking her. No Natalya attacking her. Good segment. Solid.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Again, I like what Roy said here. Stephanie against Ronda. Great. I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with Ronda, but as soon as Steph's music hit, well, you just knew. I didn't know that she was actually going to be put in the armbar. I was not expecting that whatsoever. But it's just a damn good segment. Nice job by them. Our main event, they gave them time. Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor.
I was shocked.
You know, everybody's like, oh geez, it's going to be Brock Lesnar coming out and ruining this whole thing, because Lesnar was advertised all weekend, and in all the TV advertisements they said Lesnar's going to be there, and he never showed.
No, never showed.
He wasn't there. So it's like one final like, hate Lesnar, hate him. You know,
screw you, Lesnar.
You know, but the cool thing was they made it clear with Braun Strowman that he was going to that he was going to attempt to cash in after the match, because he does things face to face because he's a monster. And that's one thing I want to say about SummerSlam the night before. Real quick, I just want to say this because I thought it was just expert crowd control. You know, for as many times as we watch WWE and we're like, what are they doing? Like, what the hell are they thinking with this? They can still be brilliant. They gave them everything. They still know how to be brilliant.
They gave them everything.
Right. So it's like, well, the crowd's going to just be nuclear on this match. Or either that, or they're going to be sitting on their hands waiting for Paul Heyman to turn heel or Braun Strowman to come out and cash in. So we have to do something. So they right at the start of the match, so you already know, and it's like, and so people are like kind of forgetting to like boo Roman Reigns.
They forgot so pumped.
They forgot to boo Roman Reigns by the end of it. Actually,
they were so pumped.
And even when he was walking off like last night, I was like, wow, there really wasn't that bad. I mean,
no.
I did get the picture of the kid giving the finger, but
no, but for
it wasn't
Brooklyn,
that bad.
No,
I've seen
Brooklyn,
way worse.
Oh,
than Brooklyn.
definitely, absolutely.
Way worse.
No. For Brooklyn, that was very, very tamed.
Oh, it was
100%.
Yeah,
they gave them everything. From a couple weeks ago, when you think Heyman's going to turn, and with Brock Lesnar not liking Heyman, the whole thing worked. It was just like a cycle of like every little bit that people are going. It's like I'm going to describe it like this, and this might be a weird reference. It's like in the movie 8 Mile with Eminem, and when they have that last rap battle, and the other guy goes first, and then Eminem goes first, and he's rapping about everything the guy's going to say back at him. So he's telling everybody that backlash that he's going to, and then the guy's just like, okay, I got nothing to say. I can't say anything. They gave everything. It's like they knew where, okay, if we don't have Strowman out, they're gonna complain about that. If we don't think there's a possible cash in.
Right. They'll be chanting from the whole time.
Exactly. If we don't have Heyman come out and thinking that like he might turn on Lesnar, then that might be the possibility here. Okay. If we have Lesnar do suplex after suplex and this, that, and the other thing, then then people are going to complain about that because we know they're going to boo Roman Reigns. So everything just kind of worked together of giving everybody a little bit of what they want without not actually giving them what they want.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, oh, wow. 8 Mile. What a reference!
I'm sorry, that's what I thought of.
No, I'm down with that. That's fine. That's totally cool. Totally cool. Great reference, actually. All right, so yeah, that expert crowd control. So tonight, well, they didn't really have that much expert crowd control tonight because they were very, very tough on Roman Reigns.
They were vocal, but with having Finn Balor there, it evened the playing field a little bit.
Yeah,
because anytime that Finn had the advantage in the match, he got the crowd. And anytime, Roman, like everybody was heavily involved, and it made Balor look really, really good.
No, he actually looked really,
this
really
was
good.
A great
This is the
match.
best he looked in quite some time.
This was a fantastic match.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I told this in the beginning of the podcast, I'm not a Finn Balor fan, but with this heat that he had, with Roman Reigns' heat, it really brought him up for me.
And it was
it let him showcase what he can do in the ring.
Right. It was like all that stuff, with
they had a good half-hour match.
Yeah, about I'd say about 20 minutes or thereabouts.
Close enough, though.
Close enough. But it was like that whole entire thing that was like, oh well, they're not going to do Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar because Vince McMahon feels that Finn Balor's not over. And then they sent him out as a demon last night, and he was definitely over as the demon. And granted, that was a pretty self-fulfilling prophecy that, that rumor gets out that he's not over, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I guess he's not over. And he wasn't over for quite some time. He was just kind of existing. I always felt that Finn Balor was just kind of there. He just was just going through the motions. He had horrible, the worst. From sitting in that playhouse that Baron Corbin gave him, and I don't know, the Finn Balor is not over thing. Like he kept doing that thing over and over again. He was just not connecting on any level. And then they sent him out last night doing the demon thing, and that that definitely breathes some life into it. That's a little nostalgia. That's a little callback to the stuff that he used to do. Kind of makes you question though. Like I try to watch as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of WWE and just somebody who's tuning in. I try to watch like that sometimes just to kind of like put myself in that mindset and ask some questions that maybe some other people have. It's like, well, why doesn't he do the demon all the time? It's like, I guess he only pulls out for special. Tonight would have been the time to pull out the demon.
Yeah, that was a little confusing.
Because
he beat Corbin last night with the demon.
In like a minute and a half.
Right. So why not do it again?
Yeah.
So you have a better advantage against Roman Reigns.
Exactly. Well, but that's like
that's
overall,
like
that logic stuff that sometimes is missing.
But he still did very well in the match.
He did great in it. And actually, Roman had the heat on him for a while, and then he made the comeback, And wow, that got a great pop. And then it wound up with Roman beating him clean, you know, but it was still just an absolutely tremendous match. And like they really, really did tear the house down. And it, you know, I remarked, you know, when Roman Reigns came out with the Universal title tonight, and I kind of said it again, like after the show to you, I don't know if you remember, was that it's just nice to have the title back on the show.
It is.
Again, isn't it? It gives the show direction.
It did give it direction.
You know, because it's like, you can only have so many, like, okay, let's try to just make, like, a personal angle here, and...
Well, it's like, what carrot are they dangling for people to be motivated?
Right. like what? Oh, there's only one title now. It's the Intercontinental... Well, although the Intercontinental Championship greatly... It's back to the prestige that it should be, and honestly, the Miz had a lot to do with that.
Of course he did.
But you know,
no, but because
Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler with the great series of matches that they had, minus the Iron Man match.
And I'm not saying this just because I love the Miz. The Miz gave it meaning in the sense of he talked about so much. The prestige of the Intercontinental Championship. Look, I have this. I'm an 8-time Intercontinental Champion. And the fact that how repetitive he was talking about it over and over and over again leads you to believe that it's the most important title in the company. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, yeah.
when you're talking about it that much.
No doubt.
It's something for people to actually say, like, well, if there's no Universal Champion to defend, what the hell am I doing?
Right. Well, like what is
what's
everybody's
purpose? Yeah,
driving
like,
focus?
Right.
Because like when Lesnar wasn't on for the months on end, they never mentioned the Universal title. So
Never.
It's like, okay, well,
so it's like,
what is the whole purpose of
it's
this
like,
show?
why are we actually fighting here?
Right. Like why would Roman Reigns want to fight Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules with like nothing on the line, like nothing going?
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
You know,
yeah.
other than like this personal thing. How many like I was saying, how many personal things can you make into a big match?
Exactly.
You need to have a title eventually. You need, even though the title's a prop, I get it. You know, it's just a thing on a TV show, but that's what the TV show is centered around. You know, it's like you can't have Indiana Jones and, you know, looking for the Holy Grail if the Holy Grail is just not there. You know, it's like that is the purpose of the movie. It's like he's not going to look for something else. He's going to look for the damn Holy Grail because that's it's in the title or whatever it is. You know.
We have a comment here this is from earlier tonight with the recap.
Oh, okay.
JFJ. Even if he loses tonight, Roman's already a better champion than Brock ever was. It's been 1 year, 6 months, and 3 weeks since he had a Universal Championship match on Raw, January 30th, 2017.
Yeah.
Saw Braun Strowman beat Kevin Owens. Owens retained the championship as Strowman's win by disqualification. The DQ came when Roman Reigns interfered and hit Strowman with a Superman punch.
Right.
So it's like...
Vaguely around
that. Yeah,
Oof.
but still, like that 1 year, 6 months, 3 weeks.
Right, since the show has had like any real type of
a
direction.
That's crazy to think about. That really puts it into perspective of...
Right, because if Lesnar's coming around for like a month and then it's gone, it's like, well, the show had a direction for like 4 weeks,
right.
And now it's over.
Exactly.
And now we have to go back to trying to, you know...
making it personal again.
With bubblegum and scotch tape, trying to, you know, just get us to the next finish line so we can get Lesnar back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is like they're wrestlers, and that's what the show.
Right.
That's what they fight for.
Right.
Okay. And it's like Steve Austin says, if you're not in the business of being the world champion, then what the hell are you doing?
Right.
It's like everybody wants to be the world champion.
Exactly.
But there needs to be a world title.
There needs to be a world title on the show to get that.
Them to care. So it was really nice. It really does make a huge difference in the show. But the Roman Reigns thing, you know, he retained his Universal Championship clean with a spear in the middle of the ring with a great match, and then Strowman wanted to cash in. Not so fast. Not so fast. We got the
Hold
Shield.
the phone.
Oh man, wow. Okay, well I do want to say one thing real quick before we talk about the Shield. There was something that happened in the crowd tonight that definitely got a lot of traction. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Goldberg, too. Right. Oh, thank you for reminding me of that, Jamel. Yes, Goldberg was champ before Brock Lesnar. So that Goldberg wasn't defending the title. He won it, and then he defended it at WrestleMania. But there was that lull in between where Goldberg wasn't on the show every week. So we've had this thing going on for quite some time with like a champion.
Wow.
It's tough. It's really, really tough to get through. Anyway, so... during the show, you know, there was like some guy, I don't know what the hell he was doing. I kind of just caught like the end of it. And I know that there was a video out there showing like what the guy was doing, and he apparently was being a little weird, but it's like he was drawing attention to himself during the Roman Reigns match, and then he was doing the DX crotch chop thing like a million times, and then he got kicked out of the arena.
That is such baloney. Because I saw him from across, and I was like hitting you.
Yes.
And I was like, look at that guy across.
Yeah, he was being goofy.
He was being goofy. He had a Ronda Rousey shirt on, like, you know, whatever. That's such baloney, though. Like, come on. Like, is he really? I mean, yes. Granted, I saw him from across the arena, so obviously he was distracting for me to have seen him and notice him. But, like, what was he really doing?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what he was saying, but I mean, like, honestly, like, if they were judging him based on what he was saying, or like if he was screaming curse words and whatever, like they would have to kick out half the arena, because it does get ugly in there at times.
Of course,
you know, but. You know, he was definitely drawing attention to himself.
But then his whole family had to leave.
Yeah,
it was
he had
like
kids
that whole,
and all that stuff. So it was kind of trashy that he was kind of doing that
yeah.
stuff with kids. You know, it's like the whole thing was just kind of weird. But that distracted from the match a little bit. So there was a lot of, and I know there was a lot of people, a lot of noise going on, because I got a couple tweets asking like, "What the heck is that about?"
Oh well, okay. So everybody who may have not noticed this last year, but last year there was this person at Brooklyn, and they kept making the.
Oh God!
Noise the entire time, like, but they kept doing it.
Back.
Like, they were back tonight.
yeah. These are just like weird things that you notice from the crowd. Like, you know, you start noticing like the same hecklers that come around.
Yeah.
But they're always in like really good seats. So now you're just acting like an idiot, and you paid a lot of money to do so. I guess that's your right. I guess that is your right. But this guy got kicked out, and to me, I get it. Like if he was doing like really using like real vulgarity,
if he had vulgarity, yeah,
you know, I can get it. But you have to kick out, like I said, half the arena. To me, it felt like you know, like I always feel bad for those people at baseball games, like the ones that like reach over the wall and they take a ball out of play. You know, like you think it's a home, but there are people that blatantly do it, and then there's the ones that like, oh well, was it a home run or wasn't it a home run? And if they go to the replay and they determine that it wasn't going to be a home run anyway, that person gets ejected. Sometimes it's like self-defense. It's like, how can you kick that person out for that? You know, it just felt kind of crummy.
Yeah, we don't know the situation because we weren't next to them. So,
right. But man, oh man, I bet he really feels bad about getting kicked out now, because when Strowman was getting ready to cash in, here comes the Shield reunion. So Dean Ambrose isn't turning heel. How about that? Oh my goodness, how cool is that? And so, you know, like that was like everybody saying, well, Ambrose is going to turn on Rollins. That's definitely happening.
I thought
no question
so.
about it. You know, I kind of thought so too, but this makes so much more sense. And this actually, you don't have to turn Dean heel right away. You can kind of build to it now, because like Dean just made his return. It's like, don't give him everything all at once. You know, there has to be something in the fall, like some little carrot to be dangled. You know, to build to a big match, because there's still Survivor Series coming up. There's still the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. So I thought this was awesome, because we kind of got robbed of the Shield reunion anyway, because Ambrose went down with the torn, I forget if it was his tricep or his bicep, but there was a muscle torn. I know that. It's just too late to remember all these things. But yeah, so we kind of got robbed of that. So here it is. They're gonna go at it again, and it gives really, really nice direction. I keep doing that. Sorry. It gives really nice direction for the fall. Because that's the next thing we got to build towards now. You know, it's like how are we going to get through this fall? And that's my question every year. It's like football comes, and it's like they throw in the towel, which is like such a cop out to me. It's so lame.
If anything, they should do it more. Like, they should try harder, knowing that they have to compete with Monday Night Football.
I agree. It's like, well, football's on. Well, nobody's gonna watch us, so let's just phone it in.
I
hate that.
No, but they should try even harder.
You should try harder,
of course.
And I'm hoping that, like, you know,
I mean, you have a year-round entertainment business. You should be trying all year.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you
there are
shouldn't.
certain.
I mean, obviously there's going to be certain times throughout the year it's not going to be as exciting as WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Yeah, Rumble. We get that. Right. Obviously, you can't live up to those expectations constantly. But you should be putting in every best effort consistently. I
agree,
especially for the people who are committed to watching it every week.
It really, yeah, it should be full effort. It really should. I don't feel like it's like that all the time, which is kind of a bummer, especially when you buy a ticket to a show. And I don't care if you're, you know, you don't have to get like the big surprises every week, but just put in a solid effort.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not fair to the people who, I mean, we have to. We're very lucky because where we live, we have been getting SummerSlam now for the past 4 years. Now we're getting WrestleMania again.
Right.
But for the people who, you know,
we should get SummerSlam again too.
Of course. But for the people who don't have like who don't live in a big city and it doesn't come around very often, you should give them something to like look forward to and not just phone it in because it's only this city.
Well,
so we shouldn't really, like, we really don't
it's
care.
It's this city and football's on and no one's watching anyway.
Exactly.
So
like it doesn't. That's not fair.
That's a recipe for disaster. To be honest with you, that is not good business. And you know, especially with Fox giving them $1 billion to come over to them, and USA really throwing some money at them too to keep Raw on USA. It should be maximum effort every single time.
Yeah.
But it's like, sometimes I feel like they probably will do max effort, starting off, but then it gets to be like that thing where it's like, okay, well, you don't remember this because you weren't watching at the time, but like when they did Superstars and like the very first match on Superstars on WGN was Undertaker versus Matt Hardy, and I was like, well, geez, somebody's got to recap this. So I was like, I'll recap it. And then it was like the shiny new toy. They did a couple really cool things.
Right.
For a few weeks. And then it was like, okay, well, here is Shelton Benjamin versus Finley for the 9,000th time on Superstars. And it's like, then it just quickly petered out. And then same thing with main event. It was like, I forget what they were doing. They had like Randy Orton on the show at some point, and they actually put main eventers on main event. And then that was the shiny new toy. And then when that didn't like take off for like gangbusters and was like, okay, well then now we have Mojo Rawley taking on whoever he took on tonight, Rhino. Like, they lose interest real quick. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Especially with a lot of money on the line, they go max effort every single week.
We shall see.
Very great. That'd be very great. But if they got the Shield coming, for the fall. And building towards like certain storylines that people want to see, that's really cool too. And
what do you think of this comment from the recap?
Quentin Walters thought it was a flop for the Shield. Please elaborate, sir. I will wait for him to elaborate in the thing while we discuss your thing. Also, Ed Hamilton would hello Ed would like the Shield to turn heel as well. And what were you going to say, Victoria?
This has to relate to the Shield, so thank you. Nightmare 97 from the recap says, Vince will go to any length to keep people from booing Roman. I am saying it now. It is not going to work at all. It will only hurt Dean and Rollins in the process. Interesting statement.
Why would he want Roman to get booed?
I know, but I'm saying it's an interesting comment.
It is an interesting comment.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it hurts anybody. I think it's this is only positives for everybody. It's positive for Roman because the Shield is over and people love the Shield. He'll only be booed on the hot tags, but coming out, the first thing people see is Roman Reigns coming out with the Shield and him getting cheered as a champion. So that's the first thing you see. And first impressions are everything, aren't they? So I thought it was it was a huge surprise. Everybody was expecting Lesnar, and you get the Shield. No, if you called that at the beginning of the night,
go get a lottery ticket.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Go get a lottery ticket because I was not expecting that at all.
Not at all.
No.
So yeah.
And nobody where we were was like, the Shield's coming out right now.
Yeah. No one called the Shield whatsoever.
Everyone's like, cash in.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar.
No, I'm not even gonna say buy a lottery ticket. I'm gonna tell you, prove it to me. Picks or it didn't happen. Okay. That's the case here. All right, so really cool surprise ending to Raw, which definitely led to people giving it a lot of thumbs up. Let's do some quick hits real quick. All right, quick hits real quick. How's that for a sentence? You like that? You like that? You like that too? You like that 2 in the morning sentence there?
Oh boy.
So anyway. Okay. Quentin's saying heel Shield would flop. I have to kind of agree because it would actually be a flop for the company because Seth Rollins is like so super over. Turn him heel would like who's the big face on Raw?
I agree.
Because in my opinion, Seth Rollins really is like the face of Raw. Like he is like the main face.
He do no wrong.
He can't do any wrong. So turning him heel would kind of be almost reckless.
Yeah, agree.
But hey, people, maybe it's reckless to me, but maybe it'd actually work out. So I can't discount what Ed was saying there. For wanting the Shield turn heel, but it definitely might do more harm than good. Bobby Lashley versus Baron Corbin.
My favorite part of that match was the chanting. Chanting.
When it was over?
New Day, CM Punk, Rusev Day, boring.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I don't think it was the worst match in the entire world.
No, certainly not.
But obviously, it wasn't the highlight of the night. People were not looking forward to it. And it has mostly to do with the fact that people hate Corbin so much. That's that. Because you know what was really sad actually watching it? Lashley was putting, like, everything into it.
Yeah.
Like, for somebody who, like, Baron Corbin...
Well, I mean, Baron Corbin now is the new GM of Raw.
All right. Well, yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
In a minute, obviously. But it just...
Yeah.
Honestly, the match wasn't as bad as... like everyone was making it out to be. You know what I mean? But people just weren't into it. The crowd was rough on them. It's like Baron Corbin. It's just something. It's just Baron Corbin. That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with Lashley.
He's very dull, and like, you know,
I know.
And like this is what I said in my tweet. You know, Roy liked it. Roy put a good opener to Raw. He liked it. Being there live, I felt it was very dull because at least, like, you know, because this went through a commercial break, so at least you get a breather during a commercial break. We just saw this thing straight through. And, you know, the CM Punk chants, you know, we managed to avoid those at SummerSlam, but they were out in full force for this match, which kind of bummed me out a little bit because I just hate hearing his name now. Right. I like, I'm not the biggest Punk fan in the world anyway, even when he was here, but like, I like hate hearing his name now. I can't stand it. And I would never even want him to come back. I just don't ever want to see him again. That's what I feel about CM Punk. I don't care about him. I don't want him to come back. It just doesn't mean anything to me. I just felt bad
for Lashley. I really did.
Well, Lashley, how about...
I enjoyed him.
Yeah, Lashley was all right. But how about this? Like, you know, Lashley, you know, a couple weeks ago, it was either going to be him or Roman Reigns in the main event of SummerSlam, and then he doesn't even make it onto SummerSlam.
Where is he on SummerSlam?
And then he's on Raw, and he's getting, you know, he's in a match that's getting boring chants, and it just was just a very dull match. To me, it was dull as dishwater. It just didn't go for me. Really didn't. Yes, thumbs down from Quentin for Baron Corbin. I just can't get into the presentation. I can't get into him wrestling in his clothes. I don't see it.
Just like a big wimp.
I just don't see it. You know, it's like they're trying to make him corporate Kane, you know, because Kane wrestled in the pants and stuff like that. But at least Kane took his damn shirt off.
But also Kane is Kane.
Yes. And Kane at that point in his career...
Who's Baron Corbin?
Right, and Kane at that point in his career was goofy as hell.
I know, but Kane's Kane. Kane has, like...
He gets a pass. Baron Corbin's
like,
absolutely.
He's matched up with The Undertaker and, you know...
Well, like, Corbin's been a disaster, like, really. I mean, like... I'm not going to say complete and total disaster, but pretty close to a complete unmitigated disaster.
He's
on the main roster for the last 2 years. It's just been like,
it's not working.
Okay, he's a big guy and he's got a great look. So now we got to push him and let's try this. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try this. That didn't work. Let's try this. That didn't work.
Nothing's working.
So now it's like, okay, he's like a black hole of personality. Sounds like he's reading a script every single time he's out there.
Every time.
So let's make him the Sole Focus Raw, make him the main authority figure. That's going to work. Okay, great. I mean, not that Kurt Angle... Oh, hold on. Not that Kurt Angle was any better, but, you know, with his lines at least.
But he's Kurt Angle.
He's earned a pass. He's earned the pass, but Corbin, not so much.
No.
Not feeling that one.
No, he did not earn anything.
He did not earn it, man. He didn't earn it. It definitely was a physical match, but just not for me.
Yeah.
They had a really cool thing. Oh wait, I think no, they did the Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Ember Moon versus Riot Squad.
All right, I'm just gonna say this before we go into the quick hit.
Okay.
I really went into it with an open mind. I really did.
The 6-woman tag.
I did. I went in. I was like, I'm not going to because I've had a thing against Sasha Banks and Bayley for some time now. I went into it with an open mind. And I was very disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
I was. I really like the Riot Squad. I love that Ruby Riot's back. She did great. I think they have a great connection. The crowd definitely seemed into it at certain moments. Sasha did get a lot of cheers. She did.
Yes.
When she, you know, hit certain spots. But I didn't like it. Like, I just didn't like.
It just felt like they were killing time at this point, and we just sat through a long Bobby Lashley Baron Corbin match, and then we have a long 6-woman tag with all the people that didn't make it onto SummerSlam last night, and it was long.
It's not something I would have liked.
It was. Let me just say this.
Sure.
I just want to say it was inoffensive. It wasn't bad.
No.
It wasn't bad, but at the same time, it's like, why am I watching this long match with 6 women who are just existing on the main roster right now? Because it just, to me, it feels like there's no direction here for any of them. Sasha Banks and Bayley may have had some direction when they were going to maybe feud.
Right.
But, there's nothing. And then, I'm really thinking about it, and it's like, well, they haven't done anything at all since they've been on the main roster.
No.
They should have feuded by this point. They should have had a good match, hopefully a good match. And they stop that thing so much that that nobody cares about them. Because we were there when Bayley debuted in Brooklyn in 2016, and it was a huge pop. And now compare that 2 years later, the Raw after SummerSlam, the same very Raw in the same very place, not much. And that's a testament to not only bad booking, but also, Bayley, on the opportunity she's been given, she hasn't really pulled her weight. And that the same goes for Sasha Banks. They were given the opportunity to, and that thing with Dr. Shelby was never going to work, but they didn't help matters by acting like 2 pieces of wood sitting on a couch trying to just pretend to be mad at each other and act, rather than kind of get into the moment, do what wrestlers always do and kind of feel the moment and just kind of go from there. They didn't help themselves out whatsoever. So, that there's just complete and total apathy towards them now. There's nothing there. And they just exist. And the Riot Squad, I don't know what the direction is for them. I don't know why they're a group. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they're riding for.
I like them. I have to be
I like
honest
them.
with you.
I like them, but who cares at the end of the day?
Well,
who cares?
Well, this is what I was going to say before.
And Ember Moon is just there.
I
she
know.
should be way ahead of everybody.
No, I know.
Because she is so dynamic, but they got nothing for her.
No, I know. And this is what I was going to say before. This is a match that shouldn't have been put on the day after SummerSlam. This is not the Raw to put it on, to be honest with you. That's why I didn't like it either. You know what I mean? It wasn't the worst match. I didn't like the match just because I just can't get over Sasha and Bayley. I'm having a really hard time with it. But this wasn't a match the day after SummerSlam. Not necessary. I'm just saying it wasn't necessary to put on. It really wasn't.
There were things that were actually worse on the show than this.
I agree with that, but this was not the match to put on. It just wasn't.
Well, I think in this section, right after a long Bobby Lashley Baron Corbin
maybe
match,
that's why
I don't think you put this match on.
I
after
guess
that,
not, but I had a hard time
because it's so directionless. There's just no direction for them, and they just exist. And it's kind of funny that Ronda Rousey in her segment was putting over the women, and she mentioned that Bayley and Sasha Banks had a tremendous match in that building 3 years ago, and I'm like, yeah. That's the last great thing they did was 3 years ago, and they're living off their accomplishments from 3 years ago. And then I even put in my tweet from earlier in the night, which was actually really funny that Rhonda said that, because I said in my tweet on, hold on, I just want to show it so I can prove it to everybody. And if you're not watching, then I'm just going to read it to you anyway. Decent enough six woman tag. I like the presentation of the Riot Squad, though I wish there was some direction for all involved. All 6 are just existing, particularly Banks and Bayley, who live off of stuff they accomplished over 3 years ago in NXT.
Well, what I found funny about the whole thing with them was the fact that you were really ripping on them during that match.
Oh, well, I was having fun.
No, I know, but it was just... And the crowd was so quiet at that point that I really think they heard you, because during I think was it you took a picture of them, right?
Yeah.
And you're look at their face. I'm like, they definitely heard you.
Oh, I don't know if they heard me, but
no, but you know what I mean. It just seemed like they just looked ready to cry at what you were going to say.
Sasha, she's really, really bad at trying to hide her emotions. You always know when Sasha Banks is going to lose.
She doesn't hide her fans.
She has a real puss on her face when she comes out when she's losing. And
that's why I don't like her either. She's rude to her fans.
Well, go back and look at her entrances on matches that she loses and compared to matches when she wins, when she knows going into that she's winning. Obviously, she knows going in every time what the result is. She's such a mark for herself, and she's so into herself that there is a discernible difference when Sasha Banks is going over and how she performs and how she acts in her entrance compared to when she's not going over. She's a total mark for herself. And that's why I do not like her. I don't like, she's like, she says words that were like cool like 3 years ago. Like, she had they're not evolving. You know what I mean? Like, ratchet was a cool word 3 years ago, I guess. Like to say, that girl's ratchet, and all that stuff.
Now it's actually offensive.
Now it's like now it's stupid.
But people,
or like saying that I'm the boss.
No, I know.
What are you the boss of? You're certainly not the boss of the main roster. You're not even the boss of your segment.
You had our section rolling though with every.
Well, because I have a lot of I just have a lot of issues.
Very vocal.
I do get a little rowdy at these events for sure.
Well, I wouldn't have it any other way. So
of course not. So they exist living off the stuff they did 3 years ago, and they're not evolving.
Only in their memory.
Yeah. Hey, Dean Ambrose is back.
Hey.
Yeah, and he faced Dolph Ziggler, which is like, that's perfect.
Great match.
I thought it was a damn good match.
It was a really good match.
It's not fair to really critique and judge harshly someone who hasn't had a match in quite some time, like a real match in front of like a live TV audience. I thought Ambrose looked good.
He did.
There was no real ring rust that I could tell.
No.
And of course, Ziggler is finally back to that, like, that aura
they're not burying him.
They're not burying him, and he looks good again. It's exciting to watch Ziggler matches again.
Exactly.
Because it's like he had a little bit of a push, so now it's like he's got some life breathed into him. It definitely it was good for Dean Ambrose to be with him.
What was really telling though about this whole match? Just how amazing Seth Rollins is, and how what stardom he has. Because even like the littlest interference got such a huge reaction. Yeah,
that little face off that he had with Drew McIntyre sent the place crazy.
It sent the place wild.
And then even him, like at the end, I love when he does this. When he runs into the ring and he does like that misdirection suicide dive.
Yes.
That's so cool.
No, but it just really showcased how much of a star he is and how much of an impact he has on everything. Not that the match itself wasn't amazing, but that took it to a whole nother level.
I can't say it was amazing, but it was definitely a good match.
I thought it was amazing.
Well, it's amazing for him to have like that good of a match coming back.
From an injury,
coming back from an injury like he had and being off for that long, and he definitely changed up his moveset, which I liked. He incorporated a fall away slam into there and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And he looked good.
Did.
So but it seemed like I was expecting people to be like more like rah 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 Dean Ambrose, but it was kind of subdued the crowd a little bit. I was hoping that they would be more into it for him, but it seemed like they're just kind of like waiting for a heel turn.
Yeah, so, I think that's why everybody was kind of like that.
Well, you're gonna wait a long time now because it's part of the Shield. So that happened. Really good. I thought that was a good match. They did Elias. What did you think of Elias and his segment?
I love this in comparison to last night. Last night he did super. Last night was a huge disappointment at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
huge disappointment because then
it was weird.
You're getting rumors that like The Rock may come and do a face-off concert, and Elias has just been so spot on with everything.
Yeah, I really wanted him to have a good moment at SummerSlam. I really did. I really wanted him to like have something like really sink his teeth into.
I know there was a lot at SummerSlam. I get it, but not the best. Like it was just.
I know. Well, SummerSlam definitely like there's a lot of matches and a lot of action, and a lot of the matches went a long time, which is totally cool. I want matches to be given time, especially like the matches that you want to see. But it gets to the point where it's like, okay, there's so much wrestling, and I'm sure that there's a wrestling fan or two that's listening to us or watching us right now that knows. Honestly, answer me this. Email me, tweet me, comment in the thing. Is there any better sleep medicine when you're tired and you just can't get to sleep than to turn on wrestling and just drift away?
I've been having a hard time sleeping, and that's been
yes. It's like, man, so you feel fatigued when you're in a crowd like that for like as long as that show was. Like it's stronger than NyQuil. It's stronger than whatever sleep. Like I'm trying. What's that one that like everybody gets addicted to?
I don't know.
It's like a Ambien. It's like
oh, okay, yeah,
stronger than Ambien. Like wrestling is the best sleep medicine ever.
Oh my gosh.
So it's like, you know, I'm over wrestled and it's like I need a little break. So like send Elias out there to do something goofy.
I know,
he was out for like 30 seconds. I really needed that respite.
But today
really
made
did.
up for it. It really did. And the Hawkins thing was incredible. They could not lose the streak tonight with that shirt. That was an excellent shirt.
I like Hawkins' shirt. That plays up that he's a loser.
Yeah, that's awesome. They weren't gonna do that. The whole thing was just clever. Very, very clever. And that would be the perfect word to describe it, in my opinion, of how that segment went. And it put Hawkins over too, you know, like, because we saw him earlier that night, right? We saw him. Didn't we see him earlier tonight?
No. I made a mistake actually, and somebody did correct me on Twitter, which I was actually kind of happy about. I missed the entrance. I saw who was it? Kurt Hawkins. I thought it was somebody beat Kurt. Somebody beat Mike Kanellis. It was really Mike Kanellis that lost the match.
Oh, okay.
But to me, from where I was sitting, it looked like Kurt Hawkins, and I'd missed the entrance from Mike Kanellis, so I just assumed, okay, that's Kurt Hawkins, and he's wearing, you know, smaller tights. You know,
okay.
I figured he was doing that because it's
right,
close to his hometown of Long Island. No, that was my bad.
No, but the whole thing was just like, it was like, he can't lose with that shirt. There's no way. He's got like,
that shirt's totally awesome.
He has to get that going with the merch.
Yeah, I was like, don't kill your merch right now, bro.
No.
You literally just got it. Who was? Oh, No Way Jose. Look, I like Jobber versus Jobber, and I mixed up my jobbers. I'm sorry. Like the Jobber won over another Jobber.
It's our third wrestling show,
and I confused that, and I confused the losing Jobber with another Jobber. What can I do? You know, I'm doing my best, man. I'm doing my best.
It's been a long 3 days.
It's been long. But we're not complaining. We are very lucky to have this experience and be able to get there.
Not complaining.
Okay. Let's just keep moving on.
Yes.
So yeah, Elias beat Kurt Hawkins. You know, that was a thing that happened. It was fine. AOP Titus Worldwide. This feud must continue until somebody just quits.
I was on my phone the entire time, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I know. It's I have nothing else to say other than that. Moving on. It has to continue until both teams are just rendered dead. Oh wait, they already are. So let's just keep it going. B team. The B stands for Brooklyn tonight. They're dedicating the match to Brooklyn. And how did Brooklyn gift them? With a wave. They
didn't deserve that.
Well, I know you didn't like it.
No, they didn't. I refused to take part in it. You took part in it.
I did take part in it.
You were so rude.
I was rude. But
Axel was incredible. Because anybody who was watching it on television did not see this. Because they were doing the wave during Bo Dallas's match, he wound up actually, when he was getting ready for his match, he took off his shirt. And the crowd was like taunting him, like, throw it here. And he totally dissed them and just threw it into the corner of the barricade towards the commentating table.
Right. Yeah.
That was honestly... Well, I wouldn't blame him.
I'm not going to afterwards, start getting into their chants because I did take part in the wave tonight, just having fun, because it was by this point it's long and they're doing B team stuff.
You just wanted to insult.
How many times do I take part in the wave at the shows? How many times
insult me?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking to insult you.
That was a personal attack on your wife.
You're weird. And that's not what I was doing. How many times do I take part in the damn wave at these shows? This is the first time I've ever done it. And we've been to like 900 shows.
That's not true. That is not true.
What are you talking about?
No. When we went to that Raw, when it was like Titus O'Neil
versus Darren Young?
Yeah, well,
of course I'm going to wave that.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't say you've never done the wave before.
All right, fine.
Liar.
I can't say. See, this is why you have to be very careful when you get married because they don't forget. You have to live with every mistake that you've ever made.
Do you want to be a liar on the podcast?
If I lied, would they even know? They weren't there.
Well, I'm going to call you out.
Okay, well, thank you. That's great. Perfect.
And you personally attacked me by doing the wave with the B team.
Okay. Well, anyway, I thought it was cool that Kurt Hawkins would not give that damn T-shirt out.
You mean Axel?
Axel. Kurt Hawkins. I'm confusing my jobbers. Oops. Anyway, the Revival beat the B team in singles matches back-to-back, so that's that. They're just doing that. Fine. whatever. That's another one that just has to continue on into oblivion. Meanwhile, SmackDown is absolutely crushing with the tag team division. So
that's that.
How is it the same company sometimes? I always wonder. But hey, whatever. So the other big news coming out of this is we forgot to mention Paul Heyman earlier coming in and saying that Lesnar wants to invoke his rematch clause. So everybody's like, it's gonna be tonight because he's advertised for the show tonight. Oh yes, he's gonna come out and get added to make it a triple threat. That never happened. And he's like, let's do it at Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in a Hell in a Cell match. And Kurt Angle goes, it's gonna be a cold day in hell. I saw your contract, and yeah, he's due a rematch, but it's a rematch whenever I want to give it to him. It doesn't say when it has to come. So he goes, it'll be, for as crappy a champion as he was and walking out, it's going to be a long time before he gets one. And Paul Heyman's like, but what about the Hell in a Cell? And he goes, as they say in Brooklyn, forget about it. That was awesome. I love that.
Clever.
It was really funny. It was really funny. But, and then the other thing tonight, the other big news. So no rematch for Lesnar for quite some time, but they did leave it open for Lesnar to get his rematch. So we may see Lesnar again in the future, but not the near future.
Not the near future.
Yes, Quentin, wife always right. Always. Happy
Thank
wife,
you.
happy life.
Thank
There's no
you.
question about that.
I agree.
The last quick hit here would have to be Stephanie was icing her arm in the back. Kurt Angle comes in, asks if she's okay, and she's like, where were you? Where were you? And Corbin's there, and Bliss is there. And he's like, oh, well, you didn't invite me out there. And she's like, well, you need a vacation now. I've had enough of you and your silliness. So she puts Kurt on vacation, which means that we need to have an acting general manager, which is now Constable Corbin is now the acting general manager.
That is the worst thing that probably happened tonight.
That is trouble for segments coming up in the fall. But whatever. Kurt Angle gets a vacation.
Yeah, but why do we have to suffer?
I know.
I get it.
And of course, Kurt Angle does nothing. It's like everything that happened at WrestleMania was totally forgotten about with Kurt Angle getting the best of Stephanie. Now he's like subservient to her again. He's a total wuss for her. I don't understand this. I was kind of saying my big thing about the Ronda segment was it's nice to have someone who can finally get over on Stephanie because after all these years of
her emasculating
screaming,
everybody.
slapping, and emasculating people, and still, even though Ronda got over on somebody, she got over on Stephanie. Stephanie still snuck in the emasculation.
Stephanie always has to get the last word.
Oh, I can't take it.
She does.
I can't take it.
She does.
It's like you could tell like these writers are such brown nosers. Have a little dignity, seriously. Have a little dignity to yourselves. Oh, let's just write a segment for the boss, where she's always coming out on top and looking good. Even if we script something where she looks bad, we'll eventually make her look good. Brown nosers, have some dignity. You're pathetic. Tweet me, at me. I don't care. I don't care.
Is that a challenge?
Oh, no writer's going to at me. You kidding me? It's not happening. But anyway, it's just pathetic. I hate the emasculations, and I hate that they have Kurt Angle. Like I said, there's no consistency here. At WrestleMania, he was like, oh, Ronda's going to break your arm and this and that. And he was in Stephanie's face, and then she gets her arm broken. She goes away for a little bit. She comes back, and he's like, oh, yes, Stephanie. Oh, he's like Igor and like young Frank is like, yes, master. It's like, why? Why is he Igor? Why? I don't understand. And so he gets put on vacation, so now he's out of a job for a little bit, and he still doesn't say anything. Why? And it's funny, actually, the last time, another Raw at Brooklyn in 2017, right before the one in Orlando, the WrestleMania in Orlando, Mick Foley actually got fired as general manager. So Brooklyn is a place where general managers go to die.
Go bye-bye.
So if you're a general manager and WWE's coming to Brooklyn,
beware.
Be careful.
Beware in Brooklyn.
Beware in Brooklyn. So that's all. I guess I think we hit it all. That is all the major stuff that happened on Raw tonight. And this was a little bit of a long show, but we wanted to sneak in some of our live experiences.
Well, yeah, it's SummerSlam weekend, so, and we have attended 3 shows, so I think actually for all that we had to say, we did it in a pretty good amount of time.
I think so, and honestly, I could talk even more.
You could disagree with me, but
no, I could really go even longer about the show. So again, let's just take a look at our Twitter poll. We have an 83% thumbs up with 115 votes in.
Ooh.
I think it's a slam dunk. I have to agree. I have to say that this Raw was pretty darn good. Some lulls, as there always are, and some of these lulls were a little longer than most of the lulls are, but they made up for it with big surprises with the Shield. You know, obviously we're not a fan of it, but the big news is Baron Corbin there, so there is some direction change. Raw looks pretty good though going into the fall. Yeah. I have to say, and I actually most years I am not optimistic. This year I actually am. And I'm the eternal optimist until they make me not want to be an optimist anymore.
Wow, good for you.
So hopefully, like, I always get scared when September rolls around. So, hey. Listen, I want to say thank you to everybody who is with us in the chat room right now.
Yeah, really.
You
guys
crazy
are awesome.
people. It's 2:30 a.m. on the East Coast right now as we record this live. We appreciate everybody who's been downloading our podcast. We are so honored that so many people have been downloading our podcast and listening to us. You know, and for the people that watch us on YouTube, thank you for watching us.
Yeah, it still surprises me, to be honest.
Yeah, like people want to just like watch our faces talk for an hour and a half. That's cool. That's cool to me. I think that's really awesome.
Keep it coming.
So but particularly the people that are with us tonight live in the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody who commented, contributed, anything to this. We've had a blast tonight, as we always do. We will be back next week for the post Raw number 4, which will be live and immediately after Raw. Yes. We are looking forward to that. And that's all I got tonight. I think I'm wrestled out, and I think you're wrestled out, and I think we need to just put a bow on this. What, real quick, good Raw, bad Raw? What did you think?
Good Raw.
Good Raw. Excellent. That's okay.
That's all. I don't have it.
You don't even have to say anything else.
Sorry, good Raw.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you again so much. Thank you for tuning in and watching us live. Thank you for watching our replay, and thank you for downloading the podcast. However you are consuming this product, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we will be back next week. We keep coming back for more because, hey, they give us an outlet, and we love to talk wrestling. So, and what else
we do for us?
We just do it just because we're egotists.
We like to hear ourselves talk. Clearly,
that's right. And we're gonna go back and watch this after. I'm kidding. I'm going right to sleep. But we're going to be back for SmackDown tomorrow. So if you've been following on Wrestleview, the Wrestleview Twitter, there will be live images from SmackDown. And some live videos of things that I deem important. Like, you know, I caught a really cool video of Becky Lynch turning on Charlotte at SummerSlam, which was neat stuff. So, you know, and as I finagle my way up closer to the show, you know, you get better pictures as the night goes on.
Maybe we'll get, like, front row.
Hey, you never know. You never know. If you start seeing our faces front row,
yeah, exactly.
Make sure you take a picture and send it to us. That'd be really cool. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. And good night. We'll see you next week.